Hello, this is going to be a tutorial on how to solve a crystal cube. This particular cube, I have a review on my channel, and it will tell you where you can buy it, things like that. I bought this one, I didn't make it myself. If you make your own, it may look a little bit different than this. If you buy one, it may look a little bit different than this, but this is the one that I have. It does lock up a lot, so during the tutorial, if I have to, mess with it a little bit, please forgive me for that. I can't really control when it locks up. It's not the best quality puzzle, but I'm going to show you guys how to solve it because it does look a little bit confusing. It's really not that confusing. It's the exact same thing as a 3x3. It just looks a little bit different. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to start out solving it the exact same way as we do a regular 3x3. We're going to do the layer by layer method for the first two layers. When we get to the top layer, we're going to have to use a 4-look or a 2-look last layer. If you don't know what a 4-look or 2-look last layer is, I have a tutorial on my page called How to Solve a Rubik's Cube in Under 1 Minute. The latter half of the video, so like parts 4 or 5, maybe parts 3, 4, and 5, those go over the top layer. So if you want to skip the first two, because the first one does the bottom layer cross, then it does PLL or F2L, then it goes to PLL and OLL. That's the part that you need to know. If you only know your basic layer by layer method, it'll be difficult to solve this puzzle because the last step, you can get a parity case. And if you get that parity case, you won't be able to solve the puzzle. And usually that happens when you solve layer by layer. It never happens when you solve it with a 4-look or a 2-look. So if you don't know those, go to my channel and check out that video. Now, because of the fact that these two puzzles are very similar, we're actually going to solve them simultaneously so that you can figure out, you're not having to do this by yourself. You can kind of relate to what you already know on the 3x3. That way, it doesn't seem like such a challenge. It just seems like, hey, I'm solving a 3x3. Because in reality, that's what it is. So we're going to start by solving this thing. By starting on the cross, just like you would on a 3x3. What you have to do on a 3x3 is you have to align the piece and then rotate it so that it matches up with both sides. And you're going to do that all the way around, just like you would on a normal 3x3. Now I'm just doing it quickly here so that we get to the point. There's the cross. These are all lined up: green, red, blue, orange, all matched up perfectly. Now the only thing that's different on the extended cube is that the extended cube has these caps that have stickers on around the edges. These don't have stickers. They're flush, so there's not really a differentiation between the centerpieces in relation to the other centerpieces. However, in this one there is. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the white. Here's the very, very tip right here. Don't look in the outer edges just yet. Just look at the very tip. That's the white face. So don't come over here and think that's the white face. We're looking at the tip, the very, very tip. So here we go. We got white. Now what we're going to do is we're going to use one of the side pieces to align it with the other centers. This is the green center, and this is the green side on the white tip. You'll notice that these are aligned. If they were like this, you'll notice that the white and the green are not aligned because the red side does not match up. You'll also notice that the green has a white that is also pointing towards the white tip. So the white side piece on the green face is pointing to the white face. You'll also notice that the side on the white face, which in this case is green, is pointing towards the green tip or the green face, because this is the green face right here. We're going to need to do this with all of the centers before we start. This is called orienting the centers. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the red face right here. This is the red face right here, red face, because this is the tip is red. We're going to make sure that the white is pointing downward like so. And you'll already notice that on the white face, that is pointing towards the red. Also, the side always points to the tip. So tip, side, side, tip, just like that. So when you look at it from sideways, it should look flush, like all white, all white. On this one you have white and white. On this one we have white and yellow. That's not good. So we need to rotate this orange face. There we go. So now we have orange and white and white. And this may look a little confusing at first, but once you get this down, it'll be a lot easier. So there we go. White and white, blue and blue. Now that we've done that, we can start to get the edge that goes in between both of the centers. It's important to orient all the centers from the very beginning except the first one, or sorry, the last one, the top center. You don't orient it yet because that's actually the last step of the entire puzzle. If you don't orient your centers from the very beginning, more than likely you'll end up in a scenario that is either 1, incorrect, 2, a parity case, or 3, you just won't be able to solve the puzzle at all. It just won't work. So, now that we have all our centers oriented, let's go ahead and get the edges. For this step, we're going to ignore, by the way, this is an edge here. It may look like 2 individual pieces, it's actually one solid piece. We're going to ignore, for this edge for example, the side colors. So for example, we're going to ignore the red and we're going to ignore the orange. We're only going to look at the parts that are in a straight row like this. So we're focusing on the white and the green. So this is the white and green edge, just like you would have on this piece. White and green edge, white and green edge, ignoring the orange and ignoring the red. That's the part that's tricky. You have to ignore those 2 colors. So what we're going to do is, this is in the wrong place. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that edge and move it onto the top layer. This is the bottom layer right here. So here's the edge. We're going to rotate it onto the top layer, move it out of the way, and now we're just going to take this and rotate it back down so that the white is facing the white again. Again, I'm just reorienting the center, making sure that it's in the same place it was before we moved that piece out of the way. So we're going back to the green and white, and what we're going to do is we're going to move this onto the green face like so. But before we do that, we want to make sure that this is white. And I'll show you why in a minute. So here we go. We're going to take the white down here and rotate it to the top. So here's the white. We're going to rotate it to the top. Now we can align both greens like so. And you'll notice that you have white, white, and white. Now when we rotate them to the bottom, they all match up perfectly. If we didn't do that step, it would look something like this. We'd match up the greens, we'd rotate to the bottom, but this time the center would be unoriented. So what we do is we make sure that when we do the alignment of the edge in the center, that we flip the center so that the alignment of the edge also matches up with the center. So that when we fix it again, moving the edge to the bottom, they all line up properly. Now I know that can be a little bit confusing, but you just need to focus on the fact that this white and this white need to match up. If they don't, you'll notice that your center will probably be unoriented. So now we're going to go to the next piece. We can pick any one from this point. So let's use this one. This is the white and red. Ignore the blue, ignore the green. Now, the white is facing upwards on this, so it's really simple to do. So we're going to go to the red face, which is right here, because that's the red tip. And again, what we're going to do is we're going to flip it before we match it. So we'll flip it, match it. There we go. Now we're going to flip it again, and by doing that, we have aligned the red. So we have the red and the green. So let's go to the next one. We can pick any one that we can find. Here's the orange one right here. So we have white and orange. So we're going to flip. We're going to align the white with the white on the edge, like so, and go back down. Now, I just want to say something real quick. You don't have to always rotate it all the way up. If you have a piece, for example, that the white is on the side, you can still orient them. You just have to do it from the side. So for example, this white and orange piece, the orange is facing upwards. So we're not going to have this white and point it up because that just won't match up. It won't look right. So what we're going to do instead is point the white in the same direction as this piece. So if the white's on the side, we're going to point the white to the side here. Then we're just going to drop it in from the side like that and push it down. That's the other way that you can do this. And I'll go ahead and do one more example. So here we have the blue and white. So what we're going to do, since the white is on the side, we're going to take the blue face, align the white tip on the side to match up with the side. So we have side and side. Then we're going to match them up by pulling this down and then push it down to the bottom to match it up. Now we're just going to have to rotate the orange back so that we fix it. And there we go. We have our cross on the bottom. Now they may look different. but for the most part, they're exactly the same. Other than focusing on this last little orientation, then they're really exactly the same. Now here's what it would look like if the piece wasn't oriented, or if the center wasn't oriented. It would look like that. You'll notice that that blue is kind of just sticking out of nowhere, and that's because it's not oriented. The center is not oriented properly. That's why this puzzle has an extra step versus the regular 3x3. You have to make sure that you orient the centerpiece. So that's how we get the bottom cross.